Okay, we are going live and starting the webinar. There we are.
We can begin, so we will let some participants join here. Okay, so we'll begin. Others may join. Sorry if we're a few minutes late for those of you who are watching at home. Bonsoir, bienvenue tout le monde au conseil du 3 mai 2021 de la ville de Westmount. Welcome everybody to our council meeting for May 3rd for the city of Westmount. We have lots of updates from council tonight, but I just wanted from my end, the message to pass on to the community that certainly when we were discussing with public health this morning is that the vaccination campaign is well underway and has been the age groups have opened up, and everything that we can do to encourage our friends, our neighbors, our family to get vaccinated. It is our way to get out of this, to get on the other side of COVID. And so I encourage all citizens to take a part in this, not only getting themselves vaccinated, but certainly encouraging anyone who has not already done so to make sure that they get an appointment. We are lucky that we have two sites very close to us. We have the Glen close by, and as well as the Montreal General. And so we will make sure that all of our social media sites and our webpage and everything have all the links to where you can sign up online to get vaccinated. But again, we all have to do our part to get to the other side of this. And so with that, we have was exciting to see soccer start this weekend in the park, and to feel that we were inching a little bit closer back to normal lives in that sense of having those kind of programmings. I want to thank the sports and rec team, did such a fantastic job of getting that program going, and with all the but as well, I really want to thank the volunteer coaches who have done this in a different year where they don't have games and it's all practices. So much of it is going to be on those coaches to make this a fun season for everybody who's signed up. So I just a huge thank you to the volunteers that are making that program run right now. And you'll see, I'm sure you've seen all the sports and rec programming that's offered for the summer, and just stay tuned again on any of our social media sites where that may change as things do in this era of COVID. So those are most of my updates. So I'm going to hand it over to Council, who also has some updates to share. Councillor Bostock.
Good evening, everybody. I'm very lucky to have had my vaccine, so I'm very proud. I've got my next one coming up in August. So I'm hoping that everybody else is going to be going out and getting there soon as well. My update this evening is just my friendly reminder that the Summit Woods is on leash at all times from now until June 15th. This is not to make your life difficult. This is really genuinely to protect our beautiful Summit Woods and the wildlife and the birds and everything that is beautiful up there. It allows everything to rejuvenate so that we can continue to use it. So please be sure to keep your dog on leash, and really encourage others, if you see them with their dogs off leash, to please make sure they're abiding by the rules. So thank you. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you for that. And I think we can all attest to the fact that there's a lot of new dog owners in the city all over the place. And so just to make sure that they understand those rules, that it is on leash at this time of year, and that's very important. And public security will be up there enforcing that. So thank you for your update, Councillor Bostock. And now we move, I think the next update is from Councillor Breschke.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have a number of updates. I'll start by thanking all residents who participated in the hazardous house waste collection. We welcomed on Saturday 726 visitors who dropped off their toxic paints and whatnot and electronics. So I want to thank you, everyone, for coming. This is a record that keeps going up and up. obviously people are doing a lot of renovations and also cleaning their basements of this toxic waste. So thank you for participating. The next big collection, and this is going to be a first, and it's the bulky items collection. There will be 5 across the year, and the first one begins tomorrow, actually. So tomorrow, if you can leave your bulky items on the curb at just before 7 a.m. And there is a list on the website of what's included and what's not included, but it's generally wood items, metal items, refrigerated appliances, and ceramic items. I'm just thinking of all the ceramic pots that break. Tomorrow morning is the time to put them out to the curb. What's not is also very important to read. So we're not accepting things like mattresses, tables, sofas, and such. No renovation and construction materials. Obviously, no electronics nor hazardous household hazardous waste. So that is tomorrow, and you can see on the website the dates of the other collections. And there's also a communication pamphlet that has been distributed to residents, so keep those handy. Another update, and I have just 3 more. Bear with me. The other update is I just want to pass on the information. It's actually with regards to transit, public transit. The fares have been updated and are coming into effect July 1st, 2021, with some amazing surprises. So the STM has reduced their fare for the 65 and older age section, and there'll be a reduction by 70% of the regular fare. So the monthly transit pass will be $27, and children under the age of 12 can ride free if they're accompanied by a person who is 14 years and over, and they can ride free any day of the week. It currently is just the weekends and holidays. So I really recommend residents to take a look at this as an alternative if you don't already do. And the first step would be to apply for an Opus card, which you can do remotely on their website. And be sure to look at the COVID precautions. There's also a whole page about using the public transit safely. So I encourage residents to jump at the occasion and explore public transit. If you're not currently a user, try something new. I also just wanted to mention that I'll be tabling the Westmount Accessibility Advisory Committee minutes. This is the first time we'll be tabling the minutes, and going forward, they'll be tabled at every month. So the Westmount Accessibility Advisory Committee has been meeting on a monthly basis, and you'll find the minutes from the 4 last months. And the table ronde that takes place with each department at every month. You'll see what's being talked about and what the information that will lead to a draft report and final report to council at the end of the term of this committee. So I'm very proud and happy that this is going to be out. And there is now a Contact Us button on the accessibility website. So if you go to the accessibility section of the city website, you will be able to contact the committee if you want to raise a concern or ask a question. And this information and this communication goes directly to the committee members. So I encourage residents to communicate with this committee. Another update, I think my residents in District 5 and residents in Westmount might be pleased that I will start the office hours, Zoom office hours, just like Councillor Peart has. Residents have applauded Councillor Peart for having started this and recommended I give it a shot. And so I'll be holding office hours starting, it's going to be every Wednesday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. And you can sign up on the web and be patient. The first few meetings, we'll see how it goes and how many people do sign up, but I'll ask residents to be patient, see how it works the first time until we get the hang of it, and I'm looking forward to it. And these are my updates for today. Thank you for your patience, and thanks, Mayor Smith.
Thank you, Councillor Brushke. Councillor Cutler has some updates on some of his agenda items tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll try to be as quick as possible. I'm moving a couple items, but the most notable one is the reconstruction of Mount Stephen. And a couple things I wanted to highlight here. So this road hasn't been reconstructed. It was first built in 1931, but the water main dates from 1904. So it's 115 plus years old. It was last reconstructed in 1978. So I think that those years just give you an idea how overdue some of these reconstructions really are. So that's a relatively significant project that we're undertaking, and I'll also be moving a motion regarding the asphalt resurfacing of Mount Pleasant between Severn and Levine. Not quite as big of a project, but this was also a road that was first built in 1913 and was last reconstructed in 1995, so 25 years ago. And so we'll be resurfacing that. So those are two main items I'll be moving today. So give that update now so I don't have to later once everybody's gone.
Thank you, Councillor Cutler. And this is the busy season for construction and for our infrastructure projects, and this is the largest infrastructure budget we've ever undertaken. So it will, citizens will see a lot of work going on in the city over. Many have seen already the greenhouse, but obviously on the streets as well in the next couple months. So thank you for that update. Councillor Gallery, I think, is the next with her update.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Bonsoir tout le monde. I have just a few updates tonight. As the mayor mentioned, soccer did start this past Saturday, May 1st, and it was great to see the kids out on the field. And yes, we're so grateful for all the coaches and the sports and rec team for moving this forward and continually adapting to the needs of our residents and kids, but trying to keep them as busy and safe as possible. Tonight, the curfew changes to 9:30. So with that, we have added early evening tennis lessons, and we've extended the WRC ice time. And the lights on the park tennis courts will be open longer as well. The clay tennis courts are open in Westmount Park and King George Park. The Stainer Park ones still need a little bit more work. Should be opening very soon. I don't have an exact date, but it should be on our website, or go have a look, but it won't be long. With regard to the upcoming events for the month of May, we have some new things and some regular things, but again, always check our websites, but look out for our cinema club, lectures. We have another virtual quiz night, which are always popular. We have a knitting workshop, and we have another fireside chat with our very own Mitch Joel. And this month features our very own Mayor, Christina Smith. So that will be on May 26th. Tune into that. I'm sure she'll have lots of interesting things to say. And that's it. Stay healthy and safe, and please go get vaccinated. Thank you.
Thank you for the update on that. And that, I'm not sure if we addressed it, but the Earth Day event that was put on by the community events team and the library was phenomenal. And I thought it's such an interesting way to do it, in that we had 3, leaders and change makers in their industry that have their whole business model is driven by sustainability, for Loop, for Carbacrete, and for the Incented Company, and also residents. So I thought it was a fascinating discussion of the challenges.
And if you missed it, it will be going on our website, so everyone will have a chance to see it.
Yeah. So it's I think it's well worth a watch for those who didn't see it. So thank you for the updates, Councillor Lellum.
Thank you, Mayor Smith. So CP has notified us that they're going to be changing out the rail on the southernmost line, the one closest to the houses this year. They'll be replacing it with continuous rail. They have previously replaced the middle rail. And when they put in the third rail, the one the furthest to the south, to the north, no, sorry, got it backwards. The one to the furthest to the south was the new rail put in. The one in the middle was changed last year, and the one furthest to the north, closest to the houses, that one is going to be changed this year and replaced with continuous rail, which has moderate benefits towards noise and vibration compared to the butt welded rail that was there. So the work will start on Wednesday. It will take 2.5 weeks. And the good news is it'll be from 8 in the morning till 2:30 in the afternoon from Monday through Thursday. So there will be no work on the weekends and no work at night. And it should be done fast enough. And as I say, there will be some moderate benefits from going from butt welded rail to continuous rail. So please advise your neighbors, and I will ask the city to make a post also on our social media.
Okay. Thank you. That's it for updates?
That's it.
Thank you. Councillor Kez.
Hello, I have two items that I'd like to bring to your attention. The first one is concerning our financial reports. I'd like to let you know that the financial report and the auditor report for the 2020 fiscal year has been completed and will be forwarded to the Ministère des Affaires Municipales et Habitations. And along with our audited city financial statements, I'd like to let you know that the financial statements will be posted on our city website, I think tomorrow morning. For sure, they'll be up tomorrow. And when you see the report, you'll notice that, just briefly, our total revenues of 121.2 million was 7.1 million higher than budgeted amount. And given that our expenses were 111.5 million, they were 2.6 million below the budgeted amount. This brings us to our net results, which gives us a surplus of 9.7 million for the 2020 fiscal year. But I have to tell you that is a result mainly of two extraordinary items. The first being an unexpected increase of 5.7 million in transfer duties. The sale of 4,300 de Maisonneuve alone amassed an amount of 3.8 million. The second important component was a provincial government grant of 4.2 million to help reduce the financial impact of the pandemic. Had it not been for these two revenue items, we would most likely be finding ourselves in a deficit position, which we're not allowed to have any case. So also the surplus is in fact very close to what was projected last fall, which was, I believe, 8.5 million. So as said, the financial statements will be posted and the report compares the actual figures with those budgeted. The next item I'd like to just bring to your attention is that I will be authorizing an expenditure for performance auditing a little later. I just want to give a brief description of what this means. It's a bill titled Bill 155, was adopted back in 2018. This bill obliges municipalities with 10,000 to 100,000 inhabitants to mandate either the municipal commission or an external auditor to verify a particular process. According to this, the choice to mandate the municipal commission would be irrevocable, meaning we'd be forever stuck with them. For this reason, Westmount has chosen to mandate an external audit firm as this mandate is revocable. Regarding the performance audit itself, the process to be audited has not yet been determined. Examples of processes that could include asset management, snow removal, call for tenders. It could be any process, but it has to be a process. And the start of the mandate is planned for June or July, and the deadline for its completion would be October 15, 2020. Performance audits will be conducted every 2 years.
Sorry, 2021.
No, but its completion would be October 2022, I believe.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said 2020.
If I did, maybe, but it's 2022. And it will be conducted, a performance audit will be conducted every 2 years. And those are my two boring updates.
But very important when it comes to the city's finances. So thank you, Councillor Kez, for that update. Now I'll hand it over to the city clerk, Le Greffier, for any questions that have been submitted.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We received a few questions today, and I'll start with the ones received first, as usual, as always. Our first question is from John Fretz, and his question is, the April mid-monthly General Committee meeting reported that a secondary study subsequent to the Stantec study regarding Westmount Park will be undertaken to clarify the first study. How much money is being allocated to this?
Thank you, Mr. Fretz, for your question. I'll hand it over to Councillor Lullen, but it is not a second study, but I will let her clarify that point.
Correct. We are waiting for the collation of the last survey that was done. We should have that report shortly. And upon receiving that report at council, we will then also be launching our further steps that we want to take, which will include some polls and some other surveys, some on particular aspects of the park, some polls, again, on specific questions that have been drawn out in the survey that was already done. And also because we want to reach a broader base. We want to have some more participation, particularly from families and children. So the cost of those they're done in-house, these types of polls and things like that. There would be a minimal cost towards compulating the results. So there's no large study, so to speak.
Thank you, Councillor Lullen. Next question.
We have a second question from John Fretz. His question is, as of 11 a.m., 2 reports, item 6.4, the Traffic Advisory Committee, and item 6.8, the audited year-end financial report, are tabled for adoption. Neither report is posted for viewing on the agenda, as is customary. Where can the Traffic Advisory Committee be found on the city's website? What is the unallocated surplus in the year-end budget?
Thank you again, Mr. Fretz, for your question. So that's 2 questions in there. One being the traffic minutes. They are on our website. I can have my office send you the link to exactly where you can find them, but they are on the website. And the next question, I will hand over to Councillor Kez, who I think will answer that in terms of the allocated and non-allocated surplus. You're muted, Councillor Kez. Start again.
Yep. The question was, what is our unallocated surplus? The unallocated surplus at December 31st, 2020, being January 1st, 2021, is 9.9 million, including our surplus that we just had from 2020. So that's our surplus. And the financial statements will be tabled by tomorrow, preferably, I think, tomorrow morning.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Kez. Next question.
Okay, our next question is from Dennis Bureau. And his question is, the results from the Imagine 2040 survey are now public. In contrast, results from the park survey completed in mid-January are not and have no public release date. This is contrary to what Mayor Smith promised as reported in the February 23rd Independent. The results are known. Our residents have been engaged, participated, and made a big effort to understand Stantec's proposal. They diligently completed the questionnaire. At this point, we expect full transparent disclosure. Stantec can continue its work with the findings. This is not a COVID issue. Our social contract with the city depends on all parties keeping their promises. The results were to be made public when they were known. Why are they not posted on the city's site? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bureau, for your question. I don't have the results. That's why they're not on the city site. We don't have a report to table at this point, but I will, when we do, and when we have that, I understand your frustration. We share it for how long this has taken. And when we have that information, we will certainly have it posted. Councillor Lullen, do you want to add anything else to this?
Yeah, I would say, as I said to Mr. Fretz, our goal is to be completely transparent once the report is finished being prepared. Regretfully, the results of the survey were not sent to Stantec as expediently as they should have been due to many different reasons, but they've had them now for a while, and so we should be having the report very shortly. They are going to collate the report so that it is in the same form as the past 2 studies, surveys were done by them, so that it's coherent and follows that path with charts showing participation numbers, etc. From that, we want to extrapolate and then do further polls and surveys to, one, reach out to a broader base of the population, and two, to look at some specifics that are highlighted in the results. So obviously those polls and surveys are awaiting on the results. So once we have them, they will be made public. And the whole goal is to have a open and deep conversation with all of our residents on what their desires are for the park and how we can best achieve that.
Thank you for that update. Next question.
Our next question is from Daniel Lambert, writing on behalf of the Association of Pedestrians and Cyclists of Westmount. At the last council meeting, we suggested the city monitor pedestrian and cyclist satisfaction along the very popular section of de Maisonneuve, which will be closed to through traffic this summer. We also asked the city to consider permanently closing de Maisonneuve to through traffic between Wood and Melville. This would reinforce de Maisonneuve's character as a very low traffic street to be used in a flexible way by pedestrians, joggers, cyclists, people in wheelchairs, etc., and the occasional resident driver. To further enhance the parkway feel, the bike path bollards could be replaced with flower boxes in the summer. Would the city consider conducting a pilot project along this stretch of de Maisonneuve once the current maintenance work is finished?
Thank you for your question, Mr. Lambert. And we agree with, de Maisonneuve is packed with bikers and walkers, and it is it's certainly a pedestrian thoroughfare. And our goal is to reduce car traffic on there as much as possible by trying different initiatives. But we will thank you for your suggestion. And it is closed during the day right now, but there is a significant construction project going on as well. It's not like the street is wide open to pedestrians, but it is closed to car traffic during the day. Does anyone else want to add to that? Councillor Lalonde?
Yeah, I would say that we're trying very hard to close de Maisonneuve at Atwater to lessen the flow of traffic through de Maisonneuve to return it to a residential street. So I think that first effort, this is our first effort and requires all of our attention in coordinating with Ville Marie, et cetera, and making sure that the residents of Plaza Towers have access, and Dawson and the daycare, and Dawson's handicapped bus, et cetera. So we have a lot of different elements we need to deal with there, and I think that's our focus right now. If we're able to achieve that, that will enormously reduce the traffic flow through de Maisonneuve to Melville, as you've seen for the last 2 years.
Yeah. So thank you for that question, Mr. Lambert. Next one.
So we have a second question from Mr. Lambert, and I should point out, according to our rules of procedure, that questions are typically to be limited to one question and a follow-up question. However, when time is permitting, we can take a second question. So time permitting, as is the case right now, our second question from Mr. Lambert is, June 16th will be the 1-year anniversary of the fatal collision when a driver turning left onto Forden Crescent collided with a southbound cyclist. The driver reportedly stated he was blinded by the setting sun. Since the collision, the city implemented a number of changes to make the area safer, but has not made the one change which would prevent a repeat collision this summer when the setting sun will once again be in the eyes of drivers. That change is to simply make Forden Crescent one-way down. The city said it is waiting for the police or coroner's report, but the absence of those reports did not prevent the city from making several other changes. We asked the city to consider making Forden Crescent one-way down before June 16th.
Thank you for your question, and it is it's hard to believe it has been a year since that tragic accident. And we did make some changes on the street, and we will be tabling the coroner's report in the coming weeks. And we will also be communicating with residents on the street to implement any changes that are necessary or suggested in the coroner's report. So I will be happy to, when we're able to share some of those initiatives with Mr. Lambert. Does anyone else want to comment on this? No? Okay. But is certainly, yes, we were able to make some changes right away, and now we hope to make some long-term changes as well. So thank you, Mr. Lambert, for your comment and question.
Okay, our next question, our last question received as part of our first question period is from Richard Locke. And his question is plastic, the subject is plastic/packaging. Many of us are using prepared food these days, which arrives at our doors in plastic containers. I pointed out some time ago that on the appropriate part of the Westmount website, the reader is told that all types of plastics are recyclable, except number 6, and that the differences are clear. But this is not the case. Several pieces of plastic packaging came to me with food recently. Some are meaninglessly numbered. Some are not. There is one number 6. Some have markings that say they are made of 50% recycled material. Can they be recycled? My question is, if we are seriously interested in recycling and saving our lovely planet, can the Westmount website be clear about what is what? Assume that we know nothing.
Thank you, Mr. Locke, for your question. There have been some changes made to the website, and there have been some communications tools sent to houses. I think Councillor Breshke, or sent to all residents. Councillor Breshke, I think, would like to elaborate on that a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. So the changes made to the website is more descriptive, and we thank Mr. Locke for bringing this to our attention. So the soft plastic describes it as coffee cup and styrofoam, meat and vegetable packaging, product packaging, so the styrofoam type. And under the rigid plastic number 6, it's utensils, individual yogurt containers, black and blue mushroom containers, those plastics for the mushroom containers, and CD cases, etc. It is written in here that the plastic number 6 may or may not have a number, and I think there is an issue upstream of the right identification of the type of plastic. And also totally agree with Mr. Locke that there needs to be more building awareness about recycling. And Mr. Locke would be happy to know, as would residents, that there are 2 initiatives that the administration is doing. One, we've hired a stagiaire who is doing a little bit of an audit and examining the contents of recycling boxes and leaving at the residential home a scorecard of how well the materials had been prepared for the recycling collection. That's one example, just to sensitize and also provide the information in a pamphlet that describes a little bit more the contents of each type of collection. And the second initiative is going to be coming up, and it's a communication campaign to sensitize people about recycling, composting, and whatnot. And it's going to be running, I guess, in the months coming, but certainly in the summer months, there'll be much more sensitization necessary for park goers to become more accustomed to assorting their recyclables versus garbage waste at the parks with the new bins that have been installed. So this is a little bit of the initiatives, and we'll have the website reviewed once more just to double check that all the information is there. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that question, Mr. Locke, and thank you for all those updates, Councillor Breshke. Is that it for questions?
That's it for our first question period.
Perfect, thank you. So now we move into the adoption of the agenda. We have a new pro-mayor this month, Councillor Gallery. So avec l'adoption de l'ordre du jour, Madame Gallery.
Je propose que l'ordre du jour de la séance ordinaire du Conseil du 3 mai 2021 soit adopté.
Merci. Est-ce que j'ai un appuyeur?
I believe, sorry, with the addition of a couple items under
Oh,
new
sorry.
business.
We have a new business under 20.1 and 20.2.
If Councillor Gallery, if you don't mind just reading those the titles of those 2 items, please.
Oh, I have to go get those.
20.1
20.1 and 20.2, no problem.
Notice of motion for a nuisance bylaw. There, it's just been put in there for you, Councillor Gallery.
Yes, the notice of motion bylaw 1572 to further amend bylaw 1475 on nuisance and good order. And the other one moment, please. Oh, sorry about this.
If you look in the chat,
Check the
Councillor
chat, yeah.
Gallery, you'll see it as the second one in there.
20 point, in the chat. Okay, it's not there. for
Can I
all
list
the-
it? So 20.2, participation of council members in a conference is another item of new business. Is that all right if I list that, Richard Bronstein?
20.2.
Okay, thank you. All right,
Perfect.
so with those two items added to the agenda, we now go back to Councillor Gallery moving the agenda.
Je propose que le procès-verbal de la séance ordinaire du conseil tenue le 19 avril 2021 soit approuvé.
Okay, thank you. With the two new items, Councillor Shammy is seconding that. All in favor? Carried. Item number 5, numéro 5, l'approbation de procès-verbal. Encore le conseiller Gallery.
6.2.
Item 5, the confirmation of minutes.
Oh, that the minutes of the regular council sitting held on April 19th, 2021 be approved.
Yes, thank you. A seconder. Councillor Bostock, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Item 6.1, the following documents are tabled. Letter from the Commission Municipale du Québec regarding the analysis of the action plan governing the bylaw adoption process. Bylaw RCG 05002-14 of the Ville de Montréal entitled Règlement modifiant le règlement du conseil d'agglomération de la délégation de l'entretien du réseau principal l'aqueduc et d'égout aux municipalités liées, RCG 05-002 and its annex number 1, as well as resolution CG 21-00227 adopting said bylaw. Item 6.2, minutes of the General Committee of Council. Councillor Gallery.
The minutes of the general committee meeting of council held on April 6th, 2021 are tabled and are available on the city's website.
Merci beaucoup. 6.3, le procès-verbal de la Commission des finances et de l'administration, le conseiller Kez.
Le procès-verbal de la rencontre de la Commission des finances et de l'administration tenue le 23 février 2021 est déposé.
Merci beaucoup. 6.4, le procès-verbal du comité consultatif sur les transports. Madame Bostock, conseiller Bostock.
The minutes of the Transportation Advisory Committee meeting held on March 30th, 2021 are tabled and are available on the city's website.
Thank you. 6.5, 6.5, le rapport de main-d'œuvre, le conseiller Chamy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The workforce report for the month of March 2021 is now tabled.
Thank you. 6.6, le registre des paiements, le conseiller Kez encore.
Oui, la liste des paiements pour le mois de mars 2021 est déposée.
Merci. 6.7, liste d'appropriation en vertu du règlement 1507, le conseiller Chamy.
Merci, Madame la Mairesse. In accordance with bylaw 1507 on the delegation of powers to certain employees of the city of Westmount, the list of authorization of expenditures for the month of March 2021 is now tabled.
Thank you. 6.8, filing of the financial report for the 2020 fiscal year. Councillor Kez.
Yes, thank you. In accordance with section 105.1 of the Cities and Towns Act, CQLR, Chapter C-19, I confirm that the treasurer has tabled the financial report and the auditor's report for the 2020 fiscal year, and that said documents will be forwarded to the Ministère des Affaires municipales et de l'Habitation.
Thank you, Councillor Kez. Item 6.9, 6.9, le procès-verbal du comité consultatif sur l'accessibilité de Westmount, le conseiller Breshke.
Merci, Madame la Mairesse. The minutes of the Westmount Accessibility Advisory Committee meetings held on October 28, 2020, November 25th, 2020, January 27, 2021, and February 24, 2021 are tabled.
Thank you very much. Item number 7.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, if you don't mind, I just want to circle back very, very quickly. Councillor Gallery, would you mind reading number 4? I believe you read, I think you accidentally had read 5 twice, and that first vote was a vote on the minutes for a first time.
Oh, yes, sure.
So if you don't mind, yeah, just number 4, and then with the addition of those items under new business. And then Councillor Chamy can second that again.
Okay, so I have to go find the new business.
They're in the chat.
It's in the chat
Okay, excuse me.
at the bottom.
I don't have the chat showing up. Okay. Here we go. Okay. I move that the agenda of the regular council sitting on May 3rd, 2021 be adopted with 2 additions. 20.1, notice of motion bylaw 1572 to further amend bylaw 1475 on nuisances and public order, and 20.2, participation of council members in a conference.
Thank you. Councillor Shammy is going to second that as he did the first time. All in favor? Carried.
Sorry for being a stickler. That's what I'm here for.
Okay,
All right, that's all right.
you did get it right.
Item number 7, numéro 7, orientation du conseil sur les sujets devant être présentés au conseil d'agglomération de Montréal. Councillor Gallery.
I move that the mayor, or in her absence, the acting mayor be authorized to make any decisions she deems necessary and in the best interest of the city of Westmount and its residents regarding the items on the agenda of the Montreal Agglomeration Council meeting to be held on May 20th, 2021.
Thank you very much. A seconder on this, Councillor Bostock. All in favor? Carried. Item number 8, renewal of general insurance coverage, Block B, and payment of cutfall to the UMQ. Councillor Shammy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to read the whereases because if you all recall, we passed the Block A and Block B back in December of 2020 and in February. So to give continuity, whereas pursuant to Section 29.5 of the Cities and Towns Act, the City of Westmount is a party to the Entente de regroupement des municipalités de l'île de Montréal relativement à l'achat en commune d'assurance de dommages et de services des consultants et de gestionnaires de risques 2019 jusqu'à 2023. Whereas under the terms of this agreement, the Union des municipalités du Québec, UMQ, is mandated to proceed with the joint request for tenders and the granting or renewal of damage, liability, automobile insurance contracts on behalf of all parties of the group. And whereas on December 4th, 2020, the UMQ authorized the awarding of the damage insurance contract Block B for the Municipalité de l'Île de Montréal Group to BFL Canada Risk and Insurance, Inc. for the term from February 16th, 2021 to February 16th, 2022. And whereas at a sitting of February 15th, 2021, our council authorized the awarding of the contract for damage insurance Block A to BFL Canada Risk and Insurance, Inc. for the period from January 1st, 2021 to January 1st, 2022. And whereas at its sitting on February 15th, 2021, council authorized the awarding of the contract for automobile insurance Block C to La Capitale d'Assurance Générale for the period from January 1st, 21 to January 1st, 22, I move, Madam Mayor, that the amount of $205,779.68, taxes included, be paid to BFL Canada Risk and Insurance, Inc. for the premium for primary liability insurance with the group deductible, surplus liability, municipal liability insurance, and legal expenses, Block B, for the period from February 16th, 21 to February 16th, 22. And that the amount of $83,878.55, taxes included, be paid to the Union des municipalités du Québec for the payment of the City of Westmount's share of the guarantee fund, the professional fees, and the cost of issuing the call for tenders. And that a total expenditure of $289,658.23, taxes included, be authorized to cover these payments in accordance with the financial information presented in the decision-making summary number 2021-1255, and that the Director of Legal Services and the City Clerk be authorized to sign any and all documents required to give effect to the present resolution.
Thank you very much, Councillor Shammy. Do I have a seconder on this motion? Would be Councillor Gallery is raising her hand there, I think. I don't think you have any further comments on that since it's all explained in the whereases. All in favor? Carried. Item number 9, grant application for 2021-2022 projects, Ministère de la Culture et des Communications du Québec. Councillor Gallery.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that in order to expand the existing collections of the Westmount Public Library, the director be authorized to submit an application for financial assistance to the Ministère de la Culture et des Communications du Québec, the ministère, under the Project Assistance Program, Appel de projet en développement des collections des bibliothèques publiques autonomes pour l'exercice financier 2021-2022. That the City of Westmount commit to funding the eligible acquisition expenditures listed in the application for project assistance that will be submitted to the Ministère for a grant. That the director of the Westmount Public Library and Community Events be authorized to sign any necessary document for and on behalf of the city.
Thank you very much. Do I have a seconder on this motion? Would be Councillor Shammy. Any further comments on this?
It's an annual application to expand our collection.
Great, thank you. All in favor? Carried. Item number 10, call for public tenders, new mechanical room of the Westmount Public Library, execution of the work. Again, Councillor Gallery.
Thank you again. I move to authorize an expenditure in the amount of $345,408.88, including tax credits for the new mechanical room of the Westmount Public Library, execution of the work, tender number PUB 2021-013, to award to Centco Group, Inc., the contract for this purpose at its bid price for a maximum amount of $378,267.75, including taxes. The whole in conformity with the contractual documents of the call for tenders PUB-2021-013, to allocate this expenditure in accordance with the financial information included in the decision-making file number 2021-1249.
Thank you very much. A seconder on this, Councillor Brushke. Any further details on this?
Yes, this is great news. We're replacing an old heating system that used to serve 3 buildings, the library, Victoria Hall, and the greenhouse. And we will now have 3 separate heating systems. So each building will function independently going forward. And this project will start May 17th and will not interfere with any of the operations of the 2 buildings.
Great. Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Item number 11, call for public tenders, reconstruction of Mount Stephen Avenue and water main replacement. Councillor Cutler.
Mayor, I move to authorize an expenditure in the amount of $2,605,780.30, including tax credits for the reconstruction of Mount Stephen Avenue and the water main replacement, option 2, tender number PUB 2021-022, and to award les entreprises de construction Ventec Inc. the contract for this purpose at its bid price for a maximum amount of $2,853,669.15, including taxes, the whole in conformity with the contractual documents of the call for tenders PUB 2021-022, and to allocate this expenditure in accordance with the financial information included in the decision-making file number 2021-1243.
Thank you very much. A seconder on this, perhaps Councillor Peart, since he is the councillor for the street. You had commented on this earlier, so you have any further comments? No?
No.
All in favor? Carried. Item number 12, a call for public tenders, reconfiguration of the Somerville Children's Playground. Councillor Lulham.
Mayor Smith, I move to authorize the expenditure in the amount of $176,869.29, including tax credits for the reconfiguration of the Somerville Children's Playground, tender number PUB-2021-029, to award to 9190-8673 Quebec Inc., Les Entreprises Rose Neige, the contract for this purpose at its bid price for a maximum amount of $193,694.93, including taxes, the whole in conformity with the contractual documents of the call for tenders PUB 2021-029, and to allocate this expenditure in accordance with the financial information included in the decision-making file number 2021-1252.
Thank you very much. Seconder on this, I'm sure would be Councillor Brushke, since it is in her district. Any further comments? I love this little park. This is a special little park.
Somerville Tot Lot is designed to be a small neighborhood play space for children aged 18 months to 5 years. This is the second half of the project, as supply and installation of the play equipment was awarded in March. This is the civil portion of the project and includes the following: the demolition and disposal of the existing fence, play equipment and vegetation, leveling and site drainage, supply and installation of a new Renaissance style fence, that's the metal fence that we have around the parks now that we're using, supply and installation of Unipath pathway, supply and installation of a new water fountain. There's never been a water fountain there, so that's a new addition, supply and installation of benches and picnic table, and supply of planting of shrubs and flowers. The park's getting a complete redo. All surfacing in the new play area will be wood fiber, which meets both the ADA requirements for accessibility and as well as the CPSA requirements for safety. And a paved pathway will be installed around the perimeter of the play space to facilitate easier access for persons with limited mobility or for persons with baby carriages, strollers.
Great, thank you. And this is a special little park. It's a gated park, which not all of them are. So especially with little kids, that's makes it one that parents and kids.
I don't have a timeline yet for the work. The equipment takes about 12 weeks to come, and that was ordered in March. And then passing this tonight, we will then have the two groups speak to each other. And from there, we will develop the timeline for installation, and we'll be sure to let everyone know.
Great, thank you very much. All in favor? Carried. And the next item is item number 13, which is call for public tenders, rehabilitation of asphalt and construction of sidewalks on Mount Pleasant between Severn Avenue and De Levine Road. Councillor Cutler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move to authorize an expenditure in the amount of $305,146.17, including tax credits for the rehabilitation of asphalt and the construction of sidewalks on Mount Pleasant Avenue between Severn Avenue and De Levine Road, tender number PUB 2021-030, and toward les entreprises de construction Ventec Inc., the contract for this purpose at its bid price for a maximum amount of $334,174.84, including taxes, the whole in conformity with the contractual documents of the call for tenders PUB 2021-030, and to allocate this expenditure in accordance with the financial information included in the decision-making file number 2021-1246.
Thank you very much. A seconder on this? I'm sure it would like to be Councillor Shammy over there. Any further comments on this? You had addressed it before.
Correct. No further comments.
All in favor? Carried. Item number 14, call for public tenders, reconfiguration of the splash pads in Stainer Park. Councillor Lulham.
I move to authorize the expenditure of $341,651.63, including tax credits, for the reconfiguration of the splash pad in Stainer Park, tender number PUB-2021-031, to award to les entreprises de construction Ventec Inc. the contract for this purpose at its bid price for a maximum amount of $374,153.08, including taxes, the whole in conformity with the contractual documents of the call for tenders PUB-2021-031, to allocate this expenditure in accordance with the financial information included in the decision-making file 2021-1248.
Thank you. I'm sure Councillor Kez would like to second this. Any further comments on this?
Yeah, so actually, when I first started on council, we put in this splash pad that's been there ever since. That was our first splash pad in Westmount. So it's way overdue for replacement, and a lot of the components no longer worked, and so we'll be putting in a new splash pad, and we can give you a little look. I don't know if you can see, but they're bubblers. So for any fear in the neighborhood, there will not be any structures or big flowers or anything like that. It's a small park, and we wanted to be sure that it could still be a usable space in other seasons when you're not using the splash pad. So we've put in one similar to the one in Prince Albert Park that we found successful, and for the same purpose still allows kids to run around in that area. And when you have different toys, so to speak, sticking up, they risk getting broken in the winter and the like. So this is a bubbler like the one in Prince Albert Park, and they should be starting work on this in the next few weeks.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Carried. Item number 15, again, Councillor Lellam, appel d'offres public plantation d'arbres au printemps 2021. Tree planting in the spring of 2021.
I move to authorize the expenditure in the amount of $163,150.58, including tax credits for the tree planting in the spring of 2021, tender number PUB 2021-032, to award to 91908673 Quebec Inc., Les Entreprises Rose Neige, the contract for this bid purpose for the maximum amount of $178,671.15, including taxes, the whole in conformity with the contractual documents of the call for tenders PUB 2021-032 to allocate this expenditure in accordance with the financial information included in the decision-making file number 2021-1250. And so
thank you, Councillor Lellam. Hang on, I'll get a seconder before you give the update. A seconder on this motion will be Councillor Gallery. Further updates on this or further explanation?
Yes, so this will be for the planting of 150 trees. To give you a breakdown, because people always ask how we're doing on the trees. So last year we planted 325 trees. We took down 176 trees. 58 of the trees last year were located in parks, and the remaining were 118 trees located on the public domain in front of residents' homes. This year, we are planting 150 trees in this contract. We've given a previous contract that's just completing, which was taking down of 133 trees, as well as removing of 179 stumps. So that is where we're at right now. We will be having we're very excited. We're ahead of the game in the tree replacement, and we are planning to plant more trees. We'll have another tree planting program in the fall.
Thank you for the update on where we're at with the trees.
The really good news on them all is that in last year's contract and this year's contract, the maintenance of the trees for 2 years is included. So the trees are watered and fertilized, and the contract calls for the replacement if the trees die. So that's the good news.
Great, thank you. All in favor? Carried. Item number 16, call for tenders by invitation, professional service for performance auditing for 2021 and 2023. Councillor Kez.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move to authorize an expenditure in the amount of $31,338.77, including taxes, for the 2021 fiscal year for the professional services for performance auditing for 2021 and 2023, tendered by invitation number INV-2021-015, to award to Raymond Shabat Grant Thornton, LLP, the contract for this purpose at its bid price for a maximum amount of $69,732.34, including taxes, the whole in conformity with the contractual document of the call for tenders by invitation 2021-015, to allocate this expenditure in accordance with the financial information included in the decision-making file number 2021-1259.
Thank you very much. A seconder on this. Councillor Shammy, you had addressed this in your comments, so
Yes,
no further comments? Okay, thank you. All in favor? Carried. Item number 17, request for proposals, purchase of a garbage dump box, DDP 2021-005. Councillor Breshke.
I move to authorize an expenditure in the amount of $76,893.63, including tax credits, for the purchase of a garbage dump box. Request for proposals number DDP 2021-005 to award to Durabac Inc. the contract for this purpose at its proposal for a maximum amount of $84,208.55, including taxes, the whole in conformity with the contractual documents of the request for proposal DDP-2021-005, to allocate this expenditure in accordance with the financial information included in the decision-making file number 2021-1254.
Thank you, Councillor Breschke. A seconder on this, Councillor Cutler. Any further comments on this?
Oh, essentially, it's a dump box that is going to be installed on a public works vehicle, and it's to collect waste in our green spaces and parks.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. All in favor? Carried. Item number 18, request for proposals, purchase of 2 salt boxes. Councillor Cutler.
Mayor, I move to authorize an expenditure in the amount of $93,428.38, including tax credits for the purchase of 2 salt boxes, and to award Ivy Schmidt Canada Inc. the contract for this purpose at its proposal for a maximum amount of $102,316.25, including taxes, the whole in conformity with the contractual documents of the request for proposals, and to allocate this expenditure in accordance with the financial information included in the decision-making file number 2021-1253.
Thank you, Councillor Cutler. A seconder on this will be Councillor Shammy. Any further comments on this? All in favor? Carried. Item number 19, urban planning approval under the bylaw of site planning and architectural integration programs. Councillor Peart.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that according to the recommendations made by the Planning Advisory Committee at its meetings held on April 26th and April 27th of 2021, the building permit applications appearing on the attached list reviewed under bylaw 1305 on site planning and architectural integration programs be approved.
Thank you very much. Councillor Lulham would like to second. Any further details or comments? I see we have more pools on this month's approval as well.
A few more, indeed, a few more pools. These are by and large, the lion's share of these are mostly minor files. But the volume is still consistent, and I anticipate that it will continue.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Carried. New business 20.1, notice of motion bylaw 1572 to further amend bylaw 1475 on nuisance and public order. Councillor Bostock.
I am to give notice of the intention to submit for adoption at a subsequent meeting of council bylaw number 1572 entitled Bylaw to further amend bylaw 1475 on nuisances and public order. The object of this bylaw is to protect access to the city property that has been closed to the public. A copy of the draft bylaw is tabled and available for public consultation.
Thank you very much. And we do not have a vote on that at this time. So the next item is 20.2, participation of council members in a conference. This is Councillor Kez who is moving this one.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Whereas in accordance with Section 25 of the Act respecting the remuneration of elected municipal officers, CQLR CT-11.001, no councillor may, as part of his duties, perform any act involving expenses chargeable to the municipality, except with the prior authorization of council to perform the act, and consequently incur expenses which do not exceed the amount fixed by council. I move that a maximum expenditure of $500 before taxes be authorized in order to allow Councillor Mary Gallery to participate in the annual conference of the Union des Municipalités de Québec that will take place virtually May 12th to 14th, 2021. That the City of Westmount be authorized to reimburse Councillor Gallery upon presentation of her invoice and proof of payment a maximum amount of $574.88 with regards to the annual conference of the Union des Municipalités de Québec.
Thank you very much. A seconder on this motion will be Councillor Bostock. This is to attend the UMQ conference in the month of May, which will obviously be all virtual, but still an important conference. So all in favor? carried. That is the end of that part of the agenda. Do we have any questions for the second question period?
Sorry, Madam Mayor, I'm just checking in our Q&A.
I see.
Okay. Yeah, it appears, well, we had a question, but it was answered in the chat. I don't believe we have any.
Nope, no further questions.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's it. I mean, in the interest of just for the public, it was just a question in relation to the work. There's a question: will the city be working on replacing street or sidewalk this summer on Claremont Street? I believe the answer has already been given by Councillor Cutler, but I'll just want to mention that in case there was an expectation for a public response. Councillor Cutler, is there anything substantive?
Do you want to?
No, I mean, can answer the question as well. Right now, the plans for Claremont are going to be 2022. And we're looking at a few different options for what the configuration will be. And so there's some interesting opportunities to make the street safer and take into account some traffic calming measures, because it is a road that's been identified as one that's possible of benefiting from a road diet. So
Yeah,
things that
and
we're
connecting opportune spot to do it as it connects right up to Marianopolis with a lot of pedestrian traffic. Okay, thank you. So if that's it for questions, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you and good night.